Major retired Donald Benjamin York, U.S. Army, died October 30th, 2010 at 11 p.m. in his home in Chesapeake, Virginia. He died peacefully in his family's arms after having suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder, induced frontotemporal degeneration, a degenerative and terminal brain disorder, for 4 years. At his side were his wife Victoria and his stepson Darius. Until the very last day of his life, he enjoyed actively participating in every aspect of his family's life. During his final years, which were defined by his illness, he took great pleasure in spending his days outdoors, meeting his friends and neighbors, birdwatching, stargazing, and walking around his neighborhood up to 8 miles per day. He took his last short walk just 7 hours before he died. His loving consideration for others, his cheerfulness, and his generosity will be deeply missed. Major retired Donald Benjamin York was laid to rest in accordance with his wishes at the Arlington National Cemetery on February 7, 2011, with full military honors. Don was born on the 4th of July, 1945, in Patterson, California. Being a Choctaw Native American, he spent his childhood on an Indian reservation in deep poverty and later traveled with his family as a migrant farmer, often attending over 5 different schools per year. In his childhood, he had to endure callous treatment and rejection. Having a very cheerful and positive disposition, however, Don never dwelled on the harshness of his life. Instead, he often recalled the day when he was visited by a sheriff who brought the hungry child donated food. This simple gesture had such a big impact on Don that after establishing himself financially and for the rest of his life, he became a fierce supporter of organizations that assisted disadvantaged children. Don became an orphan in his later childhood. However, he was adopted by a German immigrant family who for the first time brought stability into his life and whom he lovingly remembered. His foster parents strongly encouraged him to finish high school and helped him to graduate. For the first time, Don discovered his passion for learning and his scholastic talents. Later on, as an instructor in the military, as a friend, and as a real estate teacher, Don made it his own mission to inspire and encourage people around him to seek out opportunities to expand their knowledge by attending various classes and courses. His mantra was, "A mind is a terrible thing to waste." At the age of 17, Don volunteered with the National Guard to serve in special operations in Asia during the Vietnam War, along with other Native Americans. After enlisting with the National Guard, Don completed several regular and special Army training courses and became a sharpshooter. Although many of his military records are either missing or classified, we learn through his narratives and his vivid nightmares of the horrifying experiences he faced while serving in Asia and of the dearly beloved friends he lost in combat. Many decades later, as his PTSD intensified, speaking in his sleep, he would relive their deaths while blaming himself for not being able to save them. From time to time, while asleep, he would also relive a particular airstrike he called in. "Oh, the aircraft are coming, they're coming, oh no, the Navy, they missed again." Yet despite the horrors of war that he witnessed and the friends that he lost, his love for the Army and his country never faded. After the Vietnam War, Don decided to become an officer and completed various courses: U.S. Army Infantry Officers Course, U.S. Army Basic Armor Course, U.S. Army Advanced Armor Course, U.S. Army Motors Officer Course, U.S. Army Command and General Staff School. While proudly serving in the U.S. Army in the capacity of an operations specialist, a training specialist, and a security specialist, Don's greatest concern was the well-being of the soldiers in the field and under his command. He was a passionate advocate of their interests. Even while a major, he never forgot his humble origins and his experiences in Asia, and was known for speaking up for the enlisted ranks while disregarding what impact his frankness might have on his career. Don fully and honorably retired from the armed services in 2005 after having served for 39 years in active duty and the reserve. While enjoying his career in real estate, Don was very active in his community. He was appointed to the Business Advisory Council by the National Republican Congressional Committee. He was a member of the City of Chesapeake Business Advisory Committee. He held the position of Chief Election Officer for various voting districts. He was a member of his community's Neighborhood Watch. He supported the Boy Scouts Club, the Chesapeake Police Department, and he supported numerous programs that benefited disadvantaged children and children in need. For him, however, help wasn't just about money. Each time he heard a child cry for her mother, he was the first in the crowd to turn around and see if he could help. He also found it very important to remind people of their voting privilege, a privilege bought and protected by the sacrifices of so many people who served and who are serving in the armed forces. Don's achievements were only eclipsed by his love, his generosity, and his concern for his family and the people around him. He was a very loving, caring, and generous husband and father, and an irreplaceable friend to his family. He would treat a homeless person with the same respect and dignity as he would treat a mayor or a client. He was always the first one to ask how he could help. His cheerfulness was infatuating, and even on the day that he died, he started his morning with a smile. After Don retired from active duty with the U.S. Army in 1984, he became a real estate agent and later a real estate broker. Although his civil career was interrupted by several calls back into active service during times of conflict, he always enjoyed returning to real estate. Being very passionate about furthering his education, he continuously added new real estate certifications to his resume. Finally, he followed his longtime dream and started his own real estate company. He focused on international real estate transactions and traveled abroad on a regular basis. But he also greatly enjoyed designing and building custom houses, many of which line the streets of the finest neighborhoods in Hampton Roads today. During the last 2 years of his real estate career, he also became a highly regarded teacher at the College of Real Estate in Hampton Roads, as he felt obligated to pass on his knowledge to the next generation of real estate agents. We, his family, are very grateful for every moment and every smile that he shared with us, and are heartbroken that he had to leave us so soon. We would like to express our deepest gratitude towards our friends and neighbors who supported us and who supported Don with their smiles, friendly greetings, and encouragement during his final years.